Okay.
It's the 3rd of October. This is Rabbi Levitt. We're doing Succos. Succos.
Okay. So actually, there's another. What do we? We'll just say over a little bit, Kitzer. What are we talking about over here? We're talking about an issue of it comes up when there's a lot of people trying to sleep in a sukkah that's it's not the biggest sukkah in the whole world,
right?
And so what we want to know is it lechatchila to avail oneself of the din of Rosh Haruboy, and like that be able to then you'll be able to get everybody into the sukkah, even though their goof is not entirely in the sukkah, but at least Rosh Haruboy, the head and the robe of the goof is in the sukkah.
Right.
We're exploring the din of really so what's happening is that we've this is really a discussion in many places in halacha. Yesterday we mentioned that it's a mishnah in Chulin in regard to the din of shechita, and we said that that the mishnah says that to check the rove of the two simonim of a behema is b'diavad. And we said that dalad kosus, to drink the whole kos is lechatchila, says the Mishnah Berurah, but the rove of the kos, only drink rove of the kos, is b'diavad. And even though he said that if the yain is biyoker, if the yain is expensive and it's very difficult to be able to pay to have have a whole kos of wine, especially if you got to have 4 koses of wine. So then you can. Mishnah Berurah says you could rely on me. It's in that case shas adchak. It's a situation where it's a pressed situation. You could do the rove. Don't overextend yourself when it comes to that. Okay. By the way, and then we mentioned that it seems like there is a machlekes over here amongst the contemporary poskim of our days, that Reb Chaim Kanievsky Zatzal holds that this din of Ruba Kukulo is in Kol Torah Kulo. It's only b'diavad. And whereas Reb Shlomo Zalman, we started to Reb Shlomo Auerbach Zatzal, he wanted to bring a proof that from the fact that we sit in a sukkah and we have a portion of our body underneath the table, that should be a proof. And no one for the last 1,000 years, no poskim raised the shaila of such a practice. They didn't say you gotta stand up when you eat, or you gotta recline in such a way that your legs are not under the sukkah. Nobody said that, so it would seem that it's not an issue. And he wanted to say, based upon that the din of Rosh Harubo is a din lechatchila. And lechatchila, you don't need to have the whole goof in the sukkah. Okay. So what I'd like to do today is learn a very, very interesting mishnah in Maseches Sukkah, which is on Chaf Ches 28a.
Let me get it.
Okay. let's see. How about if I go like this, and I have like this. Is that good? Bum, 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 bum.
Okay, 28A. I see a Mishnah here.
That's it.
Okay, yeah, his body's in the sukkah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you want to read the Mishnah, Lou?
Sure. Misha haya rosho verubo basukkah, one whose head and body are in the sukkah. I'm sorry, head and the majority of his body are in the sukkah. V'shul chano b'tsoch habayis.
Yeah.
But his table was inside the house.
Yeah.
And I have a note here that means outside of the sukkah.
Right.
Beis Shammai Poslin. Beis Shammai says it's puzzle. It's invalid. Ubeis Hillel Machshirin. But Beis Hillel says it's valid. Amru Lahem Beis Hillel, the Beis Shammai. Beis Hillel said to Beis Shammai, Lo kach haya maaseh. There was not such a incident.
What, wasn't there such an incident?
Oh, was there? Was there not? Was there not such an incident? She halchu ziknei beis Shammai, ziknei beis Hillel, levaker es Rabbi Yochanan ben Hachoranis. The elders of Beis Shammai and the elders of Beis Hillel sent went to visit Rabbi Yochanan ben Hakoranis. Umitzauhu shehaya yoshvei rosho verubo besukkah. And they found that he was sitting with his head and most of his body in the sukkah. V'shulchano besoch habayis, but his table was in the house. Lo amru lo davar. They didn't say nothing to him. Now my English says that the Shammai didn't say anything. Oh, because Shammai is the one that says it's puzzle. Okay, right. That makes sense.
Right. We would have expected Shammai to say you shouldn't sit like that.
Right, to rebuke him. Amru lahem Beis Shammai. So Beis Shammai now answers because this is Beis Hillel is basically challenging him. Misham Raya. From here, you're going to bring a proof. Af Haim Amru Lo. Af Haim, even they said to him, Im Kain Haisa no Heg. If so, it is your custom. Lo ki yaimta mitzvas sukkah mi yamecha. You've never established the mitzvah of sukkah in your days. If this is the way you do it, you never did the mitzvah of sukkah properly. So, right. So Beis Hillel, Shammai is disagreeing with Beis Hillel. Hillel said Beis Shammai didn't object, and Beis Shammai says, yes, I did.
Yeah, so what's happening is that there's a machlekes as to what exactly transpired in that Maisa.
Right.
Beis Hillel is saying that that no one said anything to Rabbi Yochanan ben Choranas, and Beis Shammai is saying, "What do you mean? You got the story wrong. That wasn't what happened." From there, you want to bring a proof to your side. On the contrary, Beis Shammai spoke up, and they said, if that's the way you do, so then you've never fulfilled the mitzvah of sukkah in your entire life. So that's pretty strong language.
Yeah.
Okay, so the question over here is like this: What do we see from this Maisa? What do we see from this Mishnah? What do we see from this Mishnah over here that that impacts upon our question?
Well, we see it's a machlokas, Hillel Shammai, and Hillel says that it's that it's lachatchila. I guess we're saying he says it's valid, and we generally go with Hillel. So presumably, the halacha is like Hillel, and it's valid, which means it's lachatchila.
Okay, so first of all, we gotta clarify what exactly is Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel arguing about in this Mishnah over here. What are they arguing about?
Whether rov is lechatchila. No. I'm sorry, I said it wrong. They're arguing about whether rov is whether this principle of rov is equal to the whole thing is even true at all. Not even b'di'evid. Beis Shammai says it's not even b'di'evid.
Okay, so you're saying that there's we can infer from here something about the din of Rosh Baruba, and that's why I brought this Mishnah over here, right? Otherwise, what am I bringing this Mishnah over here? But if you look at the Mishnah carefully, the first words of the Mishnah before you get to the Maisa, you see that there's a machlokes between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel in regard to what case? In regard to a case where it's true that somebody is sitting Rosho Beruboi in the sukkah, not with his complete goof in the sukkah. That's true. So it does seem that has something to do with it. But on the other hand, you have another factor over here. The other factor is that the shulchan is not in the sukkah. The shulchan is in the house. And on that case, where the shulchan is in the house, oh, here comes somebody. Let me put on my glasses. Alan is coming in. Okay, Alan. So you got a case over here which has two factors over here. There's factor number one, that he's sitting Rosh Hashanah in the sukkah, not completely his goof in the sukkah. Good morning, Alan. Good to see you today. How you doing?
Baruch Hashem. Okay.
Baruch Hashem. Good.
Morning, Alan.
Morning. How's the little guy?
Baruch Hashem. Mother and baby are doing well. My wife has the rest of the children at the zoo. So my daughter's getting a break.
Oh, good.
Wow. That's a handful. And she didn't say, you got to come and help me take care of all of them.
Well, she's got my oldest granddaughter, who is 12, and she's a wonder. So it's like two adults there, really.
Oh, okay. Very good. Oh, a 12-year-old girl who's very helpful. Baruch Hashem.
We're having a family get-together today.
Oh, Baruch Hashem.
Okay, very nice. Baruch Hashem. Okay. So we're discussing. Yeah?
Had a nice meeting this morning at Brockman's.
Good. Very good.
Trying to get a little bit more.
Trying to warm up after the minyan?
I'm trying to get out a little bit more.
Oh. Okay. Good. Very good. Hashem. I thought you meant you had to come home and warm up after you being in the freezer in the minyan, because they have it 18 degrees over there of the air conditioner working. Very good. Okay. So right now we're in the Mishnah in Sukkah on 28a. And we are noticing that the Mishnah has two factors over here that about which Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai are disputing over. One of the factors is Rosh Hashanah in the Sukkah. That's the case. There's someone that's sitting Rosh Hashanah in the Sukkah, not the whole goof in the Sukkah. But there's another factor over here as well that the Mishnah mentions. And his table is not in the Sukkah. The table is in the house. Now, what do we mean that the table is in the house? Must be that it's like it's like a situation where you open the front door of your house right into the sukkah, and they didn't, and so the person who's sitting in the sukkah, Rosh Hashanah in the sukkah, presumably he's got his food on the table, but even if we say that when he's eating, he's in the sukkah, but the table is outside the sukkah, in the threshold of the door of the entrance to the house. And the fact that the Mishnah mentions this is obviously a very important and critical factor over here, that that has to do with the machlokes here between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. So Beis Shammai says that the whole mitzvah is not a mitzvah. They say postlin. They took away the mitzvah. Midaraisa, there doesn't seem to be any problem with having your table in the sukkah. The table doesn't have any mitzvah of sitting in the sukkah. And as long as the person is sitting in the sukkah, he's sit, what should be the problem? But the Gemara says that there's a gezerah over here. According to Beis Shammai, there's a gezerah over here that they don't want that somebody is, even though he's sitting in the sukkah, but if the table that he's eating off of is not in the sukkah, then Beis Shammai is worried Shema Yimshach Achorov, that maybe the person is going to be drawn after the table, and it's going to end up that he is going to be eating outside the sukkah to make the eating simpler, because the table is inside the house. And Beis Shammai, even though right now he's not he's Rosh Barubu, that's what the Mishnah says, he's Rosh Barubu in the sukkah. Even that Beis Shammai says is possible. And Beis Hillel says, no, it's kosher. He's got a mitzvah. You don't have to have your, we're not worried about that. We're not worried about that. We're not going to take away his mitzvah and say he didn't do a mitzvah. He's doing a mitzvah right now. If he's drawn after the sukkah and he's not sitting in the sukkah, okay, so then you got to tell him, go, hey pal, go back into the sukkah. You're not eating in the sukkah. But until he does that, we're not worried. So that's the machlokes between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. Now, now if I say it like that, let's hear what you have to say. What would you say the Mishnah holds about sitting Rosh Barubo in the sukkah? Is that a fulfillment in and of itself? If the table wouldn't be a problem, is that a fulfillment itself, lechatchila, of the mitzvah of sukkah?
Well, for sure, Hillel says yes. What's not clear to me is what Shammai would say if the table was not an issue.
Yeah, they're arguing about the table, but the question is this the Mishnah is mentioning that he's Rosh Barubo in the sukkah. Does that sound like the Mishnah holds that sitting Rosh Barubo in the sukkah, apart from the issue of the table being outside, is that a lechatchila way to sit in the sukkah? You can't get any better than that? Or one could make an argument to say that's what the Mishnah is talking about. It's saying even though he's doing the mitzvah lechatchila of sitting in the sukkah, but the problem is the table. And on that, you got a machlokes between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. That's one way of looking at it. Or you could say that no, there's nothing to be learned from there. Maybe a taka is only a b'diavad way of fulfilling the mitzvah of sukkah. But also, if so, then why did the Mishnah talk about it? Why did the Mishnah talk about that case? Mishnah talked about that case, perhaps because that would be the most logical way to understand how it would be that this person is sitting in the sukkah, and yet his table is in the house. If he's completely in the sukkah and the table's in the house, so then you don't have a maybe like that. Maybe like that, then the Beis Shammai don't have an issue. They don't have an issue because in that case, we're not worried that he's going to get drawn after the table. The table's not a factor. I don't know where it would seem the food is on the table, right? but Okay, so I'm not sure if it's a proof either way from the what it says in the Mishnah. We could but one thing we could say is we go further and we look at the case that we look at the Maisa that Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel are disputing about. They both agree in the Maisa about how it was that this Rabbi Yochanan ben Haranis was sitting. They both, Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel, all of them all say that he was sitting in the sukkah Rosh Baruboy, and his table was outside the sukkah in the house, and so and they're arguing about did the Talmidim of Beis Shammai did they rebuke him? So the Talmidim of Beis Shammai says, yeah, of course they rebuked him. They said, you're not if this is the way you do, you've never fulfilled the mitzvah of sukkah in your whole life. And the Beis Hillel says, no, they didn't say anything to him. Okay, so they're arguing about what happened in the Maisa. Fine, but one thing they both agree about, they don't argue about at all, is what the Maisa was, is that the Talmidim, they found this Rabbi Yochanan ben Haranas sitting Rosh Rubo in the sukkah. That's the way he was sitting. Now, is that something that we could use as a proof of something?
No.
Why?
Because we have to factor in the table. Without mentioning the table, we're not clear what his conclusion would be.
Okay, so first of all, we could first of all, if he was doing like this, if he was, oh, my battery is low, I'm gonna have to plug in my battery. Gonna plug into the wall. Just a second.
Just use that one. Yeah.
I got a call from Aaron, Alan. He's back.
Yeah,
So Mitzvah Hashem, he'll be coming next week. Are you thinking about coming next week?
Oh, still not close enough. Sit over here. See, there's no electric outlet in the sukkah, so I have to plug into the wall inside the house. Okay, so that's what we got here. Okay, we got it. Okay, so okay, so one thing we could say over here is that this Rabbi Yochanan ben Haranas, he holds number one. If this is the way he's sitting in a sukkah, what can we say? We could say that he holds that this is lechatchila way to sit in the sukkah, right? That's what he must hold. That's for sure. The whole argument between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel is, did the Talmidim say anything to him? But he himself, he holds that number one, Rosh Boy, to sit in the sukkah like that, must be lechatchila. Must be lechatchila. Must be that there's no requirement to sit with your whole goof in the sukkah. And also, by the way, we learn from the Maisa that he at least holds that there's no gezerah of shema yimshach achar shulchano. That if a person's going to put the table in the house, that we're worried that he's going to be drawn after the table and he'll end up being outside of the sukkah, and he won't even have Rosh Hashanah in the sukkah. He's not worried about that either. That's why he was sitting the way he was sitting. Okay. So that's and what else? So that, but of course, then the question is, though, who exactly is this Rabbi Yochanan ben Achoranas of the Mishnah? Is he the posek of the generation over here? If that's what he was doing, but is that mean that that's the bottom line over here when it comes to this question? So one could say that, one second over here, all of these very important individuals who were from both Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel, they both came to visit him on Sukkos. He was sitting in his sukkah because it was Sukkos, and there's a mitzvah, of course, to visit one's Rebbe on Sukkos. So it would seem that this Rabbi Yochanan ben Haranas is quite a esteemed individual, and so if he was doing like this, so then we could infer that it must be that perhaps we could infer that this din of Rosh Hashanah is a din lechatchila, except for the fact that there's a Tosfos, not on this page, I don't see it, not on this page, but there's a different Tosfos. I didn't catch where exactly the Tosfos is. It might be in the beginning of the Masechta and Daf Gimel. Maybe we'll take a look over there. But Tosfos has a girsa. Tosfos has a girsa that what was the reason that all of these Chachamim were visiting this Reb Yochanan ben Achoranas? Not because he was their Rebbe, not because he was the teacher of the generation, but because they were fulfilling a mitzvah of Bikur Cholim. Tosfos says this Rabbi Yochanan ben Achoranas was a chole. He was sick. He was not well, and that's the reason why they were visiting him. So, if so, then what he does is not necessarily a strong indication that is the halacha. Okay.
Are we talking about a rabbinic mitzvah here?
A rabbinic mitzvah?
Yeah, the sitting in the sukkah.
As opposed to deraisa, you mean?
Yeah, because that would make it relevant that he's a chola, maybe.
Oh, very good, excellent. So now we come to another halacha. someone who is, and this is brought in the guidelines of Rav Barkley, and maybe we can look up in the Shulchan Aruch because it gives all citations. Is there a mitzvah for someone who is bedridden? Does he have a mitzvah to sit in the sukkah? Is he obligated to sit in the sukkah? Let's look over here. I think he has a whole chapter of someone exemptions from the sukkah. Yeah. Now we know. Yeah. Right. The other night, there was a few drops of rain at night when people are sleeping. Right. So, what's the story about a person who is sick? How sick does he have to be? So, a person who needs to be in bed, or a person who is in pain and will feel more comfortable in the house than in the sukkah, such a person is exempt from the mitzvah of sukkah. So, right there, if they were visiting him because he was sick, so maybe we don't have any proof whatsoever, because he's as a sick person, he's already exempt from the sukkah altogether. Why was if so? It's right. So it's not 100% clear what the what can be shown from this case according to Tosus. I would like to look over there in Daf Gimel. I have a hunch that that's what Rav Barkley mentioned. I thought he said the Gemara in Gittin, but I think maybe he just said Gimel, and I heard Gittin. So I'm going to go get my first part of my. So you may, if you have a Daf Gimel, Ahmed Aleph, take a look over there for a Tosus. Okay, we just. Yeah. This is, you see this long Tosus on Daf Gimel?
The one that starts Amar.
Yeah.
Wow, that's long.
Right. So, over here, Tosus is discussing the first thing he brings over here is he brings that in the Siddur of Rav Amram, it's one of the Gaonim, that he says that the Psak Halacha is like Beis Shammai in 6 places. The Siddur, Rav Amram Pasak b'shisha makomos halacha Beis Shammai. And then he goes through the different places.
And this is one of them.
And he brings, he brings this Misa a little bit more than halfway down these lines of this Tosus. He brings this Misa of our Gemara in Sukkah on Chaf Ches, and he says over there, what's he say over here? V'almasha posak b'hach dahacha k'beishamai ein lahakshos. Mihad I'm reading the Perikama the Brachos, the Amar of Yosef. The morning Brachos, Yud Aleph, Rav Yosef says, Asa kedivrei beishamai lo asa v'lo klum. Who that does like Beis Shammai has done absolutely nothing. Umesi Raya. And what's his proof? Our Mishnah. Mesi Raya mihahi milsa de sukkah. Brings a Raya from the case in Sukkah. Maisa berebi Yochanan Hachurani. He spells his name a little bit differently. And he says over here, Shechala, he was sick. Well, that's not what our Mishnah says, that he was sick, but that's what Tosu says.
So if he was sick, why are we even discussing the case?
Let's see what Tosa says over here. V'holchu ziknei beis Shammai, u ziknei beis Hillel. So there was the higher ups, both of Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel, that came to visit him to fulfill a mitzvah of Bikur Cholim on Sukkos. Umatzu shehaya yoshev rosho v'ruboi b'sukkah v'shulchanu b'toch habayis. Amrulo ziknei Beis Shammai im kain hayisa noe kol yamecha lo kiyamta mitzvah sukkah kol yamecha. And quote what Beis Shammai said back to Beis Hillel, that the ziknei Beis Shammai that were there in that time with Rabbi Yochanan ben Uchrani, they told him that if that's what he does, he's never fulfilled the mitzvah of sukkah. Umaskinin hasam the halacha to Rabbi Yochanan Achurani. And Tosu says the conclusion of the Gemara over there is that the halacha follows Rabbi Yochanan Achurani. The Haiplukta Basukah, and then he goes on to Haiplukta Basukah Gedola Kidamaskinen Betarte Pligi. Bahai halacha kebeis Hillel aval hacha Basukah Kitana ubaha halacha kebeis Shammai.
Well, I'm confused. If the halacha is like Rabbi Yochanan ben Baranis, and he's a chola, then we're not discussing the halacha of the sukkah. We're discussing the halacha of a chola.
Yeah, it's what exactly is a good point? What is the maybe we have to go look at this Gemara in Brachos. The halacha to Rebbe Yochanan HaCharani. Oh, then I have a correction. I have a correction that the correct girsa is not that the halacha is like Rabbi Yochanan Harani. Halacha is like mashma over there that the halacha follows Beis Hillel.
So now we're back to saying it's lachatchila.
Well,
this is a raya for that.
the high plukta the mashma the halacha is like Beis Hillel. The betarti pligi bahahi betarti pligi hahi halacha Beis Hillel. The betarti pligi bahahi halacha Beis Hillel. Aval hacha besukkah katana ubaha halacha Beis Shammai. Mani Beshamai he below Tosus Mina. Yeah, the Gemara over here is talking about a sukkah katana and a sukkah gedola. Yeah, the language of Tosus over here is finding it difficult to decipher over here.
What? The one in Burma? Okay. So, yeah.
Oh, further down in the Gemara talks about Rosh Barubo actually. All right, I see we're out of time. Saved by the bell.
Okay, Rabbi, thank you so much. What do you want to do tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow I'm not available.
Okay.
Tomorrow we're going on a family trip.
Oh, good. Where are you going?
We're going on a hike. The government of the city, I think, has an annual hike during Succos. They send the army out there and they station soldiers and they have water and so on, so you can hike and not worry about dehydration or bathrooms and stuff like that, and you can go through the forest. It's very
Oh.
pretty.
Oh, which forest? Here in Yerushalayim?
Yeah. Which forest is it called? What's it called? I forget.
Jerusalem Forest.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what it's called, but we didn't go last year, but we went 2 years ago. It was very nice.
Oh, very good. Okay. All right. Okay, so enjoy.
Thank you. So you want to try for Thursday
We'll try for Thursday.
at noon?
Thursday at noon. Yeah, Thursday at noon is fine. Okay.
All right, let's make that the goal.
Okay, all right.
Thursday at noon. Okay, so Thursday at noon. Tomorrow is Tiul Day, trip day.
All right,
Good day to go on a trip.
Kolmoed Teal Day.
Okay.
All right, Kol Tuv.
All the best. Have a good moed, Yalu. Have a good moed, Alan.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All the best. Bye.